How's it going? It's Dane with the Merch Method, presented by Promo Supply House. And today we are going to be interviewing one of our longest standing clients at most times. And sometimes she's an older sister to me, a mentor
Like
to
one of
me.
your prettiest, friendliest, most
Exactly. Prettiest,
exciting clients.
friendliest. Someone I go to for parental counseling. And I wouldn't even say parental counseling. I'd probably call it more parental coaching because she has a beautiful family with two amazing daughters. And she is a beast in the world that she operates and lives in and sets a great example for all of us, honestly.
Thank
On the
you.
merch method today, we have Tiffany Garcia from Dr. Biz Boom. She has been a part of the growth of this company since the very start, if I'm not correct.
That's right.
And I am going to go ahead and let her take the mic for a second and introduce herself, tell us a little bit about her role and how that's grown with Dr. Biz Boom, and to be honest, a little bit of what they do. So it'll give us some background and some context on why we do certain products for them. So, Tiffany, if you wouldn't mind, give us a little intro about yourself, your role, and Dr. Bizboom.
Yeah, I would be doing a disservice if I didn't start with the company first. So, Dr. Bizboom is a marketing company that is secondary to existing practices. So, what they aim to do is help the community of people across the whole entire country with doctors that already exist in each of these areas and help them reach more patients that need help and are not getting it from the regular medical system. Nothing against MDs. We work with lots of MDs, but what we're looking for is transformational health changes and not just reactive care. So, but it's a sister company to actual practices. So that was actually where I got my start. I ran several of the practices, back in California, and that was where, although I knew Dane prior, and I knew the owners of Promo Supply House prior, that was where we, from a business standpoint, started together. And they actually did all of our welcome bags for all of our patients who were starting on for care. We wanted to make the experience a very wow experience. So that was where we started. And then I was employee number two, technically, with Dr. Bizboom. And the
Which is
experience is,
crazy to think.
it is. It really is, actually. And you asked my position, and I would say I'm just the Jane of all trades right now. A little bit of a nomad, doing whatever is kind of needed. But I've worn several hats. I've worn the sales hat. I've worn the event booth hat, the vendor hat, right? The director of client relations, the Friday group coaching call trainer. There's a ton of things that we do, but yeah, that's my role, kind of all of it.
Okay. And so Dr.
Yeah.
Bizboom, if I have this correctly, was created to work with all these private practices and these clinics and these medical facilities to really help them with their marketing outreach and
Yeah.
how working with a company like Dr. Bizboom could help them grow their reach, grow their, the patients that they have, as
Mhm.
well as, I guess, service their community better. Am I, am I
You're
depicting that correctly?
You are, but in addition, I mean, it's exactly it. We want to be able to help expand their reach and reach more people that are looking for solutions but just can't find them. And furthermore, with that comes training. These doctors are often very willing, and their staff is very very willing, but they need some skill set enhancement. So we come into play in that area as well. So lots of things happening across the country. Yeah.
Yes. So when you say you're a Jane of all trades, it's not only you are for Dr. Bizboom, but Dr. Bizboom also is for every practice out there.
It really is. I mean, and it's ever expanding. Just if somebody's in some kind of pain, it's one of those things where we're aiming to be able to help those people. If a patient's in front of you and they need help, help the patient. That's kind of where we're at. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, with that, so I know that when we started, it was initially with the welcome kits.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gone through numerous iterations with the welcome kit. But when we, think of all the products that we've done over all the years, how would you classify promotional marketing products fitting into, I want to say your marketing strategy for not only the physical locations and the practices, but also for Dr. Biz Boom?
Yeah, absolutely. It's and I think of you, Dane. You remember when we were at that one boot camp and I was staring at this bottle that you had, and that bottle
Yeah.
said, what is it? Fit or Fat Club, or what was it?
Kind of fit, kind of fat.
That's the one. And I was like, yes, I resonate with that. I still have it. My daughter has stolen it. My 10-year-old steals all my stuff. Um,
For
Coaching
the parenting.
extraordinaire that I am. Yep. But it's just something, the you want to know the impact is, how do you see something and it forever reminds you of that person or that company or that experience. And every single time I see that water bottle, I think of you. And I remember us back
Love
at that
that.
conference, and
Yeah,
actually your wife was pregnant at
she
that time.
was. She
She was.
was.
Nobody knew. I called her on it. She's like, "Does she know?" I remember that. But yeah, it's something that you see something and it will take you back to remembering a person or a business or an experience. So to answer your question, with the welcome bags in the practices, it has something attractive that is a constant referral method, because the patients know other patients, know other patients who might be dealing with the same thing. So we want them to have something that they carry that they're like, what's that bag about? And it starts a conversation, Same thing with Biz Boom. We send, oh my gosh, the best. And I know that I'm on here talking to you about this, but like, honestly, we have the best stuff that we get from you guys. And I talk about it constantly, just in regular life with people, about these cool, my daughter, the 10-year-old, she didn't call them hand sanitizers. She called them hanitizers. And in funny stuff, remember, I mean, COVID wasn't funny, but everyone wanted hand sanitizers, or handitizers as we called it. And these were those little pocket thin ones. Literally, they'd slide right into your pocket.
Yeah.
And it's
The
something that
credit card ones.
the credit card ones, everybody
Mm-hmm.
had them. Every client was like, I'm carrying your sanitizer around everywhere. And I swear on everything holy and sacred, I had more telephone calls. I didn't have a bunch of clients canceling out on me. We retained the large majority of clients who continued marketing because they'd see their hand sanitizer and remember that they needed to keep their marketing going. I swear to you, it's just something that happens. So it plays a massive role. We always invest in our swag. We call it our swag for any events.
Yeah.
Anytime we welcome a new member, when a new patient starts care in our practices, we want to make it an experience. So it becomes a wow factor. It's so much more than just gifting them something and crossing your fingers.
Yeah. It's, it's been, it's been awesome to kind of go through the whole journey with, both the practices and with Dr. Biz Boom, because, at Promo Supply House, we have access to 350,000 plus SKUs. So it's you conceptually, we always have items we know that do well. And we know that they do well for certain industries. We've been doing tote bags with you guys from, to be honest, the inception of everything is where we started. But
Yeah.
one of the items that, to be honest, I wouldn't have recommended unless you reached out and kind of, some people would call it like Tiffany'd me and been like, hey, Dane, no, this is the way we're going.
Okay.
But was the syringe pins, the
Oh, yeah.
syringe pins and the syringe highlighters. And so when obviously we've been producing those for you guys for a while, but
Yeah.
I didn't know the feedback and how much, all of the clients would, and the participants in Dr. Biz Boom like actually used and appreciated it until at that conference I walked into the meeting room and I saw Viv on the stage speaking to them, and everybody was using their syringe, pen, and highlighter. And it was something, that I didn't think about. So, with that, when you're planning an event and you're thinking with, branded merch, branded marketing, what role does it play in creating the experience, I would say, for the guest or for participants or for patients and clients, or, even with, I know what you guys do, and obviously there's a long-standing relationship here. The founder of Dr. Biz Boom was my wife's maid of honor. And so there's a long relationship here, but you guys also do stuff with your staff. But, back to the event planning, it's like when you're planning that, what are the key factors that you're thinking with when it comes to the branded items you're doing?
Okay. So first and foremost, when we set up the events, and there's other people that now, thank God, are helping with doing this. I used to have to do
Yes.
start to finish everything. I would be there while everyone was off having dinner and shopping. I'm like making sure everything's lined up, right? When the hotels, because we do our events at hotels, they would be like, oh, we have pads and we have pens. And I'm like, good. Can you grab all of them and you can take them? Like, you can just take them. And they're like, you don't want any of them? I'm like, I don't want any of them. I said, I have pens. I have notepads for everybody. I want them to show up and need nothing. There's no free branding occurring here. It's our brand on Spotlight, right?
Hashtag no free promo.
No free promo. Yeah, and it is so true. Like I had actually my old roommate who would handle what promo was in movie sets, right? And I didn't realize that there was so much that goes into all of that, and that it's thought out down to a science of what soda is sitting on a table. And it's the same thing. It is the experience you create. We have water, water constantly served at our events. They have a water bottle.
Yeah, we do those smoke water bottles for you guys.
Yeah, I love them. They have a notebook. If they don't have a notepad, it's a leather bound notebook that is branded. And when you think about these things, the pens, I used to do events every single month across the country. And these people would, even if they didn't need to talk to me about us at that moment, they were looking for me for my pens. They're like, we love these pens, because they're all clinics that do injections of some sort. So obviously it's adorable, but it kept me in their brain. They had my number. I would get calls months, even a year down the line, from these people who still had my pens, And so same thing with the highlighters. We wanted to make sure that every time an attendee showed up, they needed nothing except to just physically bring themselves. And everything else we took over from there. Your guys' totes, I mean, we've used them from welcome bags all the way. If one SKU is going to run late, their team has always just spot gotten me a quick replacement if I needed it. It just, the responsiveness has always been so good, but it creates just that atmosphere. It's like it's an experience. It's like a felt experience, for lack of better words, that we put together. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. When we talk to new clients and we onboard new clients, or we're talking to our current clients, that's one of the things that I try to drive home. And, you all set a great example for that. Is if someone's coming to an event, if someone's coming to a conference, if someone's coming to a coaching session, the only thing they need is them. And you guys have always really pushed and provided that. So you actually answered my next question, which was, do you find branded merchandise helps with brand recall or client engagement? And, your story about the pens, that really kind of drives home why we do what we do. Is we always talk about the, like, remember me. And obviously that's more of remember you as the client, but
Mhm.
That's what we want all of our clients to say is like, we're doing this so they remember me. We're doing this so they remember me. And, with that pen story, that really drives it home.
And it's funny because this the whole what I just said came about in a conversation I had with Vivian where I don't know, it was somebody's birthday. And so I wanted to send a cake. And she goes, okay, so how long are they going to eat that cake? And I'm like, probably a day or two. And she goes, right. She goes, there was somebody who I wanted to get a gift for, and I wanted it to be something that every time they saw me, they thought of me. And so she told me she got this person this very, very expensive candle. This very expensive candle. It was quite large. It would last a very long time. It was almost so pretty. It was one of those ones you almost didn't want to burn, but you'd see it. It would be displayed, but they would always think of her. So I had a different viewpoint moving forward that what you select is something that will last. Those friggin' lip balms, they're in the shape of a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make some funny jokes about it, which we did.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we did
The
because we
black
got
ball
them
lip
in two
balm.
colors, black balls and blue balls. It was one or the other,
Exactly.
but that bad boy lasts a really long time. So, and our killer hats, they just say boom on it, which yes, it's Dr. Biz Boom, but you can wear that anywhere. A boom hat just looks cool. It's like 3D printed. Am I saying it right? Like puffy
Yeah,
3D
3D
printed on
puff.
it.
Yeah.
3D puff. And I wear it. It is my most frequently used hat in my regular day-to-day life. And I get questions about it all the time. It's enough to spark a question. It's stylish enough that they will keep it no matter what. And it will remind them of us every time. Every time they freaking need their lips glossed up or moisturized, that balm will last you a good amount of time. And mark my
Yeah.
words, they come find me at an event and they're looking for another black ball or another blue ball.
It's,
I don't know if this is appropriate for this
no, it totally
conversation,
is.
but
It totally is, because when we start thinking about it, I think that we've all experienced individuals that take promotional marketing products so robotically, right? And the real purpose of it is to be remembered, be used, because that's the key thing is like when we do stuff for you, that we have a relationship to where I can tell you, hey, I think this is a terrible idea
yeah.
because I know you wouldn't use this. And so if you wouldn't use the item, why are we doing it for them? But I also think that when you're doing promotional marketing products, it should be something that creates a conversation regardless. And those conversations should have lightness and humor of, hey, what is that? Can I get one of the black balls? I need black balls, of lip balm. And so it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, you kind of, I think that companies need to continuously expand on how they're thinking with promotional marketing products in that sense of like, hey, I want this to be used. I want the hat. I want people to ask where I got the hat.
Yeah.
If I'm wearing a hat, I want them to ask where I got it, because that's obviously continued branding. There was a study that was done on hats specifically, and it was like one hat per 12 months equals 6,500 impressions or some crazy number. And so it's always, I love hearing when hats succeed. That's something that, really jumps out at me. And so
On top of it, I had a client who's like, my daughter would love this hat. I'm like, let's get her one because now the daughter's going to be wearing it. And I'm like, I'm looking at how many impressions that person's getting. Like
yeah,
the parent, like they're going to see it over and over again. So it's really true. I agree.
I love that. Now, you've managed, put together, set up, ordered the promotional marketing products and swag for quite a few. Now, when looking at them, what are some of the must-have promo items that you personally think every show, regardless of industry, or every event, regardless of industry, should have?
Yeah. Okay. Um, Regardless of industry, I'll tell you at our booth every single time, every time. And I have, other than maybe the hand, I mean, I have similar feedback on all of these, but one that is a hit are mitts. everybody at any conference
How did I
is,
know you were going to go to the credit
you
card
knew I
bins?
was gonna,
Yeah.
yes. So at all these, I don't know about you guys, but any conference you go to, let's think about all the trade shows. They're probably in meetings of different sorts. They're trying to drink a ton of coffee just to be able to survive the next 2 to 3 calendar days, and coffee breath and lots of interactions and conversations. They always want mints. It's like a gravitational pull to your booth. Like they will have one person go, they'll see them eating the mints and they're like, "Where'd you get those?" They're like, "I got that at the Biz Boom booth over there." And I'm like, "Come on over. Can I have some of these mints?" I'm like, "What's your business you're doing?" And it just allows me the opportunity to have that conversation. Like, what else do you have? So things like pens, yes. I mean, ours are so cute because they're syringes. So
Yeah.
I think if you can, I don't know what other types of pens, I'm obviously very niche specific on it, but something that they can write with that they'll use the rest of the day that stands out. It's got to be a disruptor. So the mints to answer your
Okay.
question, but for the rest of it, a disruptor of some sort.
Okay. I can work with
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I always tell our clients when they're ordering pens, I was like, produce a pen that people are going to want to steal.
Yep.
Like, produce the pen that if someone asks to borrow a pen, they try to put it in their bag or in their
Yeah.
pocket or in their purse. And so it's so funny that you brought up the mints because we just did an event that was hosted at a hotel and our client was like, they pumping so much oxygen into these rooms. We're all cotton mouthed. So the mints are saving our life. And, I always laugh about it because
Yep.
until you have
True.
these conversations, a lot of companies aren't thinking with it.
Mm-mm. They're not. And I wish I could even take responsibility for it. These were Vivian's brainchild.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
like, they're gonna need mints, they're gonna need hand sanitizer because nobody wants to touch anybody's hands. During COVID,
Yeah.
honestly, if you need what is it, PPE products? Is that what it's called? PPE?
Mm-hmm. PPE.
So we did a conference in Vegas, in your neck of the woods, Dane. And
Yes.
it was around the mask time, but we needed to have conversations with these people. So a bit of our disruptor was we followed PPE, but they were clear brand advisors. It
Yeah.
was
The
fantastic.
face shields.
Yeah, you saw them in all of the casinos across Las Vegas that
Oh, yeah.
weekend. We were totally compliant. We did the thing. But yeah, it was huge. I mean, so I think that the disruptor is always just what gets them talking. Where'd you get that? Like you always want to get that question of where'd you get that? So that's what I think
Yeah.
about when I'm putting together these conferences with you. I mean, obviously I throw you my Dane loves me and hates me at the same time because I'm like,
It's
hey,
it's it's all love. It sometimes I think you personally challenge me sometimes just for your own entertainment. I think I'll put it that way. I think that's the
at a
best way to put
conference
it.
in 3.5 weeks. I know we're a bit of a rush. I need all of these items. Also, do you have anything new? Like, what are we looking
Yeah.
at right now in this space, And that's the conversation we have. But, I think in working with Promo Supply House, it's been one of those things where I could just be like, hey, what's new? What's new, exciting, and different? And they're never
Yeah.
pushy about it. And it's like, here's what we got rolling right now. These are the new hot item. I'm like, oh, those are good. He sent me a sample of it. I just want to see it,
Yeah.
And so we held this very high end conference. So we had high end jackets and high end backpacks that were like specific for your laptop. But we were in Mexico. We went to Cabo for this
I
conference.
remember that. I remember doing everything for that conference.
I bet you do, because I was like, 3 weeks, we're leaving. We gotta go. I need them at the office, right? And so it was,
Sahara was like, I got to get the team to pack these, and I think we might be shipping them to Mexico.
we're gonna ship them to Mexico, but also Tiff needs samples first.
Yes, and
And
we
so
need pre-pro samples.
yeah, and they're fantastic. It was like they were so secure, like literally the zipper was completely hidden. And
Yeah.
it's just that you guys always have come up with things that suited the need and the almost ridiculous asks at times, but it should be a reflection of the impression you're trying to create and the brand. And also the product. Like we do lights. We have light products. And so they've come up with a bunch of red light things that light up type products for us over the
Yeah.
years, which have been very impactful. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Now, back onto that event, and I'm actually going to kind of go off my question list, which I've professionally prepared, because I'm obviously a pro, clearly, but I wanted to kind of dial into that event. So I remember doing it. I remember it was a short timeline, but it also really reminded me of kind of like my time training in the military. So it's like when you're in the military or you shoot guns or whatever, you always get told aim small, miss small, aim small, miss small.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like what was done different for that event was it was so targeted to the individuals coming and really to their needs once they get there. And it was all targeted items that we knew would be used well beyond that conference. So that product's always in the public's eye, I guess you would say.
Yeah. We did higher end everything on this one. Everything was custom. It wasn't just a higher end product. It was actually with their names on it, specific things to their practice. We might have even done their logos on it. We went very hardcore into elevating the quality of the delivery and the impression, right? Again, it has to strike an emotion. When they arrived, it was literally an emotion. Their seats were specified by their names all over everything on that seat, you know? And it was like you said, I mean, we got them Yeti cups and
Yeah.
they were custom. We did these incredible jackets that were light enough for Mexico because it only gets cold at night. Like only it was chilly at best at night, but it was light enough
Yeah.
to keep them warm enough. But also, I have used that when it's snowy out and it's been warm enough for those. I don't know how that technology works out, but it worked out
Yeah.
great. You
That's
know,
beyond my pay grade.
that you and me both, my friend. But I was like, I need an awesome jacket, come up with a great
Yeah.
solution. But they were just the quality of it just enhanced the delivery so much exponentially. Everything was leather, not there was no regular paper products. It was like leather bound this and that. It was fully branded, the backpacks that we had. It was locked and loaded with items, again, all from Promo Supply House, that we just put together this really custom experience. We had like towels that were included
Yeah.
in the order. It was just so custom tailored, not only to the venue, but to the individuals. So I think when you're doing things like these types of events, you have to really determine what type of impression you're trying to create and what type of experience. What do you want them to feel when they walk in? And so
Yeah.
Dane and his team has always just been so amazing at like, hey, I need something better than this. Okay, you sent me these. Okay, bigger. Okay, less, and they find your middle ground just right there. Okay, now I'm over
Yeah.
budget, like let's dial it back.
Yeah.
But it's just always been just a really simple process with you guys. And I'm not blowing smoke because you're my buddy, because you are, but it really has been such a simple process. And I quite honestly don't make it the easiest with my ridiculous deadlines.
Oh no, it's easy. We always have tighter deadlines.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at that event and I think that event was just such a staple for, almost could be used as a case study for companies out there of like, hey, you got really targeted. You created the experience, which in my opinion, and again, I'm not saying I'm an expert by any means, but when I look at what you guys were creating for that event, it was almost like they got there and they really felt acknowledged for being there. And on top of that, it was almost like you knocked down a barrier by doing something that at the end of the day, it was simple. You weren't like, hey, let's create this custom molded XYZ. It was like, hey, we're going to do nice bags. We're going to do a nice towel. We're going to do a nice drinkware option, a notebook, a bag, a jacket, etc. But it was targeted. So I felt like it made, from, all of our conversations, it made everyone feel welcomed, which then almost kind of knock down everybody's guard a little bit so they could really be there and be present during the event.
Yeah, alcohol also helped.
100%. I don't think that
I'm just teasing.
I will never vote away alcohol at an event. I've
But
probably
we
been to
didn't
more.
ask for it, right?
Exact. And it was, it's like, if you're going to do alcohol, let's drink it classy at
Let's
the end of the
drink
day.
it fancy, my friend. That's right.
Exactly. Let's just drink it classy.
That's right.
So, another question I had for you is, obviously we went specific with that, but in all your time, as part of both companies, have you noticed, or are there things that you make sure you do now when you're doing stuff and branded products for staff? Are there key factors that you think with?
I always think with time, how long will the products I order last,
Yeah.
right? So one thing I haven't even mentioned, but it's which is hilarious. Okay, so Vivian hates Post-its, hates them. If she is at anybody's desk and they have Post-its, she yanks them off and say, "What's going on with these?" They go, "I have to remember to do that." She goes, "Just do it and get the Post-it out of here." You know? But what's
She's been a
hilarious,
great mentor to all of us.
it's true. She's like, "Take it
Yeah.
off your list, wrap it up. Why do you have a bunch of Post-its surrounding your whole thing?" You know? And so it's funny that that's her viewpoint, yet one of her favorite things that we send all of our newest clients is a Post-it box. It's branded, it's leather, it has our
Yeah.
name on it, and it's stacked with countless Post-its, countless, you know, it has to last years. It truly has to. So they just can't forget about you when you're in the midst. It does not make sense to take out all the Post-its because they're intentionally smaller. It'll be like little pointer tabs or
Yeah.
little ones and then a big one, and it has a calendar on it so they don't have to like jump from app to app on the computer and things like that. But it lasts, and it doesn't make sense to take all those things out because then it'd be all over the desk. It's just compact and perfect. And so we're
Yeah.
always we have a mouse pad that we give them when they start, doing anything with us. We give them a mouse pad along with their hat and the Post-it thing and a handful of other things, but we're always thinking with time, how do we stay in their face the longest amount of time possible?
I love that. Yeah, it's what's going to constantly be appreciated, used, and remind them of you, but also give them the ability to talk about you to others.
Yep.
Now, when we're doing these events, one of the, how do I word this in a Dane way? One of the things that is always fun is doing all the apparel for the staff and everybody working the event. And I say that because I have my own idea. I have also been fortunate enough to travel and spend an abundance of time with Vivian and you, and to be honest, a lot of your staff. I've actually watched most of your team grow up in a weird in kind of a weird way.
Yeah.
And so when we start talking about these items, like the items that we're going to do for the staff, whether it be the shirts, whether it be the hats, whether it be a bag, a bottle, when we start thinking about the items that we're doing for the team members.
I'm sorry, you did say staff, didn't you?
Yeah,
Sorry
but
about
it's
that.
totally fine. No, I wanted to, I'm glad that you dove into, the items that some clients aren't thinking with, which is the Post-it notes. It's like, put something on your desk that's always reminding them of you.
Yeah.
But, and I also think it's hilarious because that is an absolute Viv move of just look at it, handle it, and then throw that thing away. Get rid of it because
But
it's how
also,
you
I'm
how
gonna
you how
give it
you
to
really should do.
everybody. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to everybody because everybody makes this mistake except for my staff. I know.
Yeah.
But about the apparel, it's so funny. I don't know about everybody else, but like, as much as I'd like to say I have it 1,000% together, and the stuff that we get from you guys, we have these polos. So Vivian wanted us to all be extraordinarily sharp. She wanted us, when we got to an event, you knew who was a part of her team. And set aside from the speakers are the only ones that, get to wear whatever else. So she put together a very sharp, very, very sharp looking outfit. We have these branded polos. They're actually, I think they're Adidas, right, Dane?
I believe so.
Me not having it together, and granted I am one of the speakers now, so but I still wear it on calls with clients. I put it on. I mean, if I'm being real gross, I wear it frequently. Like I will wear it, I'll put it on for some calls, and then I'll put a sweatshirt on, and then I put it back in my closet, and it'll go a week or two because but it like doesn't wrinkle. Like I travel to these conferences, I don't live where the company is, and I have to travel, and it's sitting in a suitcase. I could pull it out of my suitcase that morning, and it has zero wrinkles on it. She also did these. How unique, I think. She had us do these blazers, and the blazers are cotton, which sounds weird. They're stretchy material, they're cotton,
Yeah.
they're breathable. They look so good, and you can always tell how sharp we look. It's like one day we'll do polos, then we'll do black shirts with the blazers, or even she would, at some events, the executive team had the blazers, and then the rest of the staff had, the polos. But and then Abby, as a gift, got us. She's our CEO. She got us all sweatshirts that say "Boom" on it because I don't know. We live in places that get cold. I know I do. So,
We
it's
also
just kind of
all work in offices that the AC is usually set in the low 70s.
at least to 60, if not 68.
Exactly.
It's just between that and the hats. I mean, we've just always wanted to make sure that when we show up, who's on the team. It creates an impression. And it honestly, it adds to the wow factor. There's just nothing like it. And that's always the feedback she'd get at events is, man, your staff is very well put together every time.
Yeah, I second that. One of our clients that well, he was the first one to call me out on it, and we're actually, the Promo Supply House is going through brand refresh and a logo change and a full color palette change. I've gotten a lot of coaching and guidance from someone that I admire and work closely with, but we probably do 50 shirts for him at a time, or 40 black t-shirts for him at a time. And you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I do.
And he's like, Dane, why are you not constantly wearing your brand? It's your business. And when I really think about that, it's like, why am I not? It's like what I'm wearing right now, this jacket, this is a sample that I'm actually testing for one of our larger clients right now. That's the reason I'm wearing this. And then as soon as I say, hey, yes, this is great, which I'm a huge fan of it thus far. I should probably send it to the dry cleaners because I think I've worn it the last 3 days straight.
You're a bit of a fan, huh?
So durability, very high. But as soon as I'm done with it, it's getting the new Promo Supply House logo. And when we look at what we're doing for staff and for teams and everything else, one of the things that I kind of always admire about what you and Viv and Abby always do is it's like, hey, let's make sure it's of a quality that we stand by. Because we don't want to do, $10 t-shirts that maybe are just lower quality and are going to have the floppy neck or have the loose sleeves or whatever. And it's always been a quality first to make sure that it's going to be a used item, because I can't tell you how many polos or shirts or hats or bags I've done, over my tenure here that I'm pretty sure the staff isn't using, because it's like I personally wouldn't wear it. And I think that the companies I admire on what they do, obviously, Dr. Biz Boom being one of them, is the staff is the engine, right? The staff is that engine that's constantly pushing things forward. I think that sometimes we forget as executives or business owners that it's okay acknowledge them. And it's also not rocket surgery to acknowledge them. It's one of the things that you guys have done really well, and you, Abby, and Viv have always really done well, is if I'm going to do something for them, I'm going to make sure it's something that I know they will appreciate. So it is there, there is that little bit of research, going back to that birthday cake story. You know, it's that little bit of research of, okay, this is going to hit the way we want it to for this staff member, team member, client, etc. And that's one of the things that we at least really try to put the effort in from our side on doing that, of like, hey, I know you want this, let's not go down this road. Or, hey, let's never take this out because I have never received a restock order without this item on it, so we know that it's working.
Yep.
And kind of having those conversations. Next question I have is, when there's obviously thousands of companies out there like Promo Supply House, and this is a two-piece question. First is, obviously there is a long-standing relationship between all of us, but part one of the question being, why have you guys always continued to come to us and allow us to support and help you all? And then part two to that question is, if you were to give me a reason or the number one factor of like, hey, this is why we always go to Promo Supply House, and then also what you would love for us to maybe do a little bit better, or maybe there's a gap that we're not, or something we're not doing for you all. So I'll let you start with number one.
I'm like, I don't even know how I'd answer number two because I haven't really run into too much with it. I will say it's really twofold, outside of, if I put friendships aside completely, it's twofold why we keep going back to you guys. The service and communication is so good. I mean, I have constant updates on my order. If my order ships, I get notifications. It's all in one spot. I can literally log in and I click on whatever link Sahara sends me, and I'm like, here's all of my order. Here's all of my tracking numbers. This one's been delivered. This one hasn't. This one's ETA is that day. I don't have to, all of my review the proofs and approvals are in one spot, which just makes, this is one of my hats, like one of my many hats. So to keep simplicity in place, time is the one thing, the one commodity I don't toy around with. And obviously I'm running late, so I don't have time. I don't have extra time to do it,
Yeah.
So it's all in one spot. So that's one reason that is like, if something's simple, why am I looking to alter it, right? The other thing that's going to come into play is price, right? And so, no, I'm not going to say that you're going to always have the cheapest stuff. You might not. But what I'm going to say is,
I agree.
if I'm like, Dane, give me this same product, but make me pay less. Like, find me someone who can get me this product for less. No, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, you usually find me one. Maybe the quality's a little less, and I know what I'm getting when I'm asking for something less expensive. I mean, some budgets are just what they are. And if I'm like not willing to compromise and I'm making things up, but like the mints we use have no sugar. They have no sugar. We will not compromise on that. I'm not going to go get a crap mint that is loaded with sugar, and these people are getting headaches and sugar crashes. I can't have that. We don't compromise on that. We don't compromise on our freaking sanitizers. The lip balm, as long as the shape maintains, I'm willing to bob and weave a little bit on that one, right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of,
we tested a few.
We did, and you make your concessions here and there. Some don't feel good and some stink. So you're willing to bob and weave on certain things. I remember we switched the tote bags once. Maybe it was a little bit out of necessity, but I think I was working with a tighter budget this one time, and I'm like, let's do this cheaper one. And then I will tell you, they don't even have to do this, but they did. Sahara calls me. She goes, "What'd you think of that bag?" I'm like, "Quality's less. Let's not go back to this one. Let's go back to the original one, and I'll stop being cheap." And that's what it comes down to. But you guys have always been like, if I'm like, "Hey, here's my budget. What can I work with here?" You guys have always been, "How do I make this happen? I need all of these things, but here's my budget." And so we've always been able to communicate and compromise on things that are a little less important in the quality, like our hats. That was a journey.
Yeah.
The hats that we do, we went from, and I won't name names, but we went to two different brands, and I was like, Sahara, what is the brand I like the best? Because I don't
Yeah.
remember, and it's not because she's unintelligent or stupid or forgot. I'm like, what is the one I like the best? And she tells me the brand I like the best. I'm like, I I don't care whoever takes over this, say we never switch from this brand. This is the
Yeah.
brand we get every time because it is the one that fits the best. It is the one that gets the best feedback. All the other ones will get thrown away. This one will not ever get thrown away because it's so freaking comfortable. So I think
Yeah.
just to answer your question in summary, you make the process simple and you always just work within the budget. I mean, within reason, obviously, if you're like, I need 20 million things at no budget, that's not feasible. But
Yeah.
you guys have always been able to work with us on it. What could you do better? Come to every event just because we like seeing you. No, I want to give you a real answer. I genuinely, if I could think of something, I'm not going to blow smoke. I'd tell you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm going to jokingly say your follow-up game's strong. I can't always pick up your calls, but
Yeah.
I mean,
That I try to stay good on that.
yeah, I don't really, if there was honestly something that I could be like, this could go better, I would honestly tell you, but I have not had, I mean, honestly, the last several orders I've placed, I kind of checked out and I'm like, here, shipping department, this is coming to your attention.
Yeah.
Let me know if you don't get anything. And then it'll be like a week gone by. And honestly, it'll be midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know if you deal with this, but my eyes will jet open and I'm like, have we gotten all of the things? Our
You're like, oh
conference is
crap, I got to double check
completed.
this.
Yeah, and I go in and
Yeah.
everything's been delivered. So the conversation's not with Promo Supply House. It's like, hey team, I show everything delivered. What do you have? What do you not have? Is anything
Yeah.
missing? And so I would give you honest feedback on it if I had a bad thing to say. I really don't.
Yeah, one of the ones I got in the last conversation I had was they were like, Dane, I wish you guys would do more content on new trending items because as much as we all have our staples, we all want to bring something new that somebody's potentially not even thinking about doing yet. That was one of the ones that I got that really, to be honest, kind of forced my hand on doing the videos, doing these podcasts and these interviews with our clients was to have these conversations and to talk about, hey, this is what works. This is also what we're looking at. This is why we go certain ways with certain events.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
one of
one
the,
thing I could use is like a one sheeter on a full welcome bag. That because we have so many clients. I mean, I just sent someone to you this week. We have so many
yeah,
clients that just want to replicate what we've done successfully. They're not looking to reinvent the wheels. They're not looking to shop for other companies. So having just the ease of it, like here's what's in a welcome bag. Here are things that Biz Boom offers to
that's
members.
actually a great idea.
Yeah, here's things that Biz Boom offers to their members that you can keep around your office that they love because it keeps them remembered. Here's some mints, here's some lip balms in
Yeah,
colors that are
that's,
exciting, you know?
well, you will be receiving an email on that. And
Yeah,
I can promise you that much. And it'll be a one pager and we'll
yeah.
just have it delivered to the hotels where you guys are having the events. We'll have it printed and delivered so we can make that easy.
Yeah. I mean, spit spot. We got one in August, but honestly, even just for us to send to our clients as a part of their onboarding, like here's part of what we do for every new member, because remember, you're creating an experience, or every new patient, excuse me, you're creating an experience. Here's what we do. The simplicity to be able to have them reach out to you more simply. I don't think it's like a bad thing you're doing, but yeah, that would probably be an enhancement.
Well, we can definitely fix that. That's easily remedied. It was actually, it was interesting because the client who we're helping, she mentioned something that sometimes I forget. And obviously this wasn't in the questions, but your conversation made me think of it. She goes, Dane, we want a welcome bag and we want a graduation bag.
I love that.
And I was like,
I know
wow,
who
that's
this is,
actually,
so yeah.
yeah, exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And it was just one of those things to where she's like, they don't have to be extremely different, but I want a little bit of differentiation to congratulate them on the effort and the work they put through to make it through. And I was like, wow, that's,
That's very cool.
especially in the medical practices, that's something that I wasn't even thinking with.
Yeah.
It's like there's an elective surgery client that we have. And obviously, with that being elective surgery, it's like, hey, there's a nice duffel, there's a nice hoodie, there's a nice water bottle. And we do that for them as like their welcome kit for when they come in for, they get it before they come in for surgery. So they're comfortable. And it's like, what can we do as some small like token of like, hey, congrats on getting through this. You know, especially for like the clinics that you all have, it's like, hey, congrats on getting through this because we all know that this took work and effort. And so it really opened my mind and I was like, okay, now I have another, you know, way to really help our clients acknowledge their patients and their clients. Yeah. And so it was kind of, it was awesome to kind of hear the feedback on that.
I really like that. I do.
Yeah, it was something different. And I was like, oh, thanks. I needed that. Yeah. I appreciate you.
I'm always like, damn, why didn't I think of that first? That's how I think.
Exactly. That's why I was like, man, the amount of medical, dental, elective surgery, private medical practice patients we work with, how was I not thinking with this already?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that office does injections. So when you're talking about the outpatient surgery center having like the sweats that's branded with their stuff, and that's very cool. Like that's something that actually can be an expanded area for that office in particular. That's very cool.
It's wild to always think that there's more that we can be doing, and there's always something that's so unique that makes them stand out and makes you stand out as a business. And that's what I feel like that's what I'm always searching for. It's like, what's that one item? And we know there's never going to be just that one item. We know it doesn't exist, but we are always searching for it. So I have 2 questions and then we'll kind of wrap up. And these, 3 questions is, what is the go-to merch item right now that you think everyone should be doing?
In my industry or just everybody everywhere?
Everyone everywhere. Like if you look at businesses, because obviously you've been around long enough and around at an executive level long enough to where you've talked to multiple different people in multiple different industries. If you were to look at it, what would be the one go-to item that you're like, this is always a no-brainer?
I lean on hats.
Yeah.
I really lean on hats.
It's common. It's a great cost-effective marketing tool.
I have so many things I can say, but first of all, I'm someone who wears hats a lot. Like, yeah. I don't know. And everyone's got their favorite hats. I have 2. One is my Boom hat and one is my local minor league baseball team to where I live. They're exactly 2 hats that are my favorite and I wear them more than anything. And it just sparks those questions. Do you wear it every day? Not necessarily, but it's something that is, if the quality is there, like don't skimp on a hat. Just don't skimp on a hat. Like you can skimp on things. A hat's just not one of them because if it's not comfortable, it's going to end up in donation. It's just the way it is. So a good quality hat that is comfortable and flexible for various shapes of heads. Even just my husband and I mean, I've got a noggin in comparison to him. I don't know why, but
yeah, he's been a toothpick since the day I've known him.
Yeah. I mean, way further. I mean, he's less toothpicky now than he was probably when he met him. But we figured out how to cook around here.
I love it.
I would say hats. I mean, you can expand it, but hats is it's something that becomes a part of an attire. And if it's something high quality and it can be neutral enough to match with anything, I just love it. I won't ever not have hats.
I love that. Okay, now the next one is, if you had an unlimited budget for your next promotional marketing products campaign, what would be your dream product or experience you would create with the products?
I already know what I would pick. And there are 2. And it depends on where I'd be at. Well, it depends on what your next question is, because maybe I saved that.
You're good.
Okay. I want so badly for our team to have Patagonia vests, branded vests. Also, my husband owns a,
Do you know how
business.
easy that is for us to do?
I know, but they're not inexpensive. And so it's like, I don't know, but that I think they are just so freaking sharp looking. No matter if it's freaking cold outside, if your core is warm, you're probably fine, and it goes with anything. You can expand your wardrobe so much. You can throw on like the button ups. You can do them with polos. It just works with so many things. But it just makes you look so wicked sharp. I love them. So that's one that I would pick.
I love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, there is a brand that I saw at our last trade show that, and you know that I have North Face, Cotopaxi, Patagonia in my closet.
You have all of them.
I'm fortunate because I have relationships with all these people,
Yep.
but there's a new brand out there that cost wise versus quality, I do think matches up with Patagonia, and the quality is there with a little bit better price point. We're doing the vest for a large event out here in Vegas for one of our clients, and I got to test it.
Oh, that's
And so
exciting.
I'll shoot you some data on that because
Let me
we
know.
can always make that happen. Okay.
Awesome.
Now the last, or there's two questions. One of them is more for you. The first one being, what piece of advice would you give companies who want to make a bigger impact with their branded products?
I would say you need to work into your rotational budget promo supplies. It's just you're going to need to do it. And the more, I mean, I'm stealing Grant Cardone and I'm kind of stealing Vivian acknowledging that it was Grant Cardone because it was a conversation or, it's something that
Yeah.
he said at a conference that she just really hones in on. And I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but he's like, it's not the best product or the best service that wins. It's the best known. And so how you're putting your name out there, how you present to your public, in the words of the great Eminem, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes
Yeah.
once in a lifetime. So make a big splash. And it's something that you need to have budgeted in, or else it will always fall to the wayside. It's just something you have to do. And so what impression do you want to create? And throw in a disruptor. You have to throw in something that's like, oh, I mean, our company
Yeah.
sells a
Yeah.
male enhancement light,
Yeah.
and so we have literally at our shows, we have a body model with this light on a fake member, if you will. And so it's a disruptor. Yes, it's a product that it has a public with a need, but it is a
Yeah.
disruptor. So something that is like pushes the envelope just a little bit could be a little smidge controversial, but no one will forget it.
Yeah. It's always who's known. It's always who's known and who's remembered. Yeah. I love that answer because it really, there's so much, it's so simple, but you could unpack it as much as you want. But it is so simple. It's like be a disruptor and create products that make you more known. I love it. First and foremost, thank you so much for your time. But what we do really need to know is where can people find out more about your company and what you're doing and how you can help them with their practice?
Yes. I mean, go to drbizboom.com. We have, sister companies and affiliates and all that, but that's the place to start.
Okay.
And also we're so fun. We like to play games. So even if you go there and it's maybe not for you, but a doctor in your area who could use us, send them our way. We pay for referrals, man. We play the game.
I love
If
it.
you send people to get our licensed supplements product, we pay like there's marketing money and then there's a good portion of our budget. Most of our business has been built on referrals. It's been built
Yeah.
on the backs of our great works becoming more well known, and we ask for referrals. That's honestly the majority of our members came to us from somebody else. And yeah, we market, but it still is one of those things. So go to our website, drbizboom.com, spelled drbizboom.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you again so much. I am so appreciative of you taking the time to do this and come on to the merch method. It is something that we are going to really try and continue to push, because I do think that the information and data that, not only our clients, but companies out there have in this space, and the recommendations, the coaching, the advising is kind of invaluable, because there's items that you spoke about today that we know have always worked regardless for the event, that maybe companies and clients out there are not thinking of. So I wanted to thank you. I'm excited about the vest because you got me all excited, because my uniform during the few cold months we get in Vegas is a quarter zip, a vest, and a pair of jeans. That is my...
Send me a sample. Send me a
I
sample.
will. You will have a sample coming your way.
Maybe